I am ready for work. They sent the offer and I was like, okay, that's a pretty good offer. I literally have no idea where I want to go next. I would say it took till today for me to feel like I know my new caseload. Y'all, I am tired. I'll be fine. Today is my first day back to work post-honeymoon. I took 8 working days off, so it's almost been 2 weeks without working, which is lovely and wonderful, and unfortunately did have to come to an end. So today is the start of the first routine work week back, just regular 9 to 5, 40 hours a week. No longer in Spain, no longer laying out by the pool every day. No more wine, cheese, bread, butter every single day. It does feel like going back feels relatively neutral. I don't feel just super anxious or super nervous. I feel like I was able to fully disconnect and be away while I was away, which feels amazing. I'm also not just excited to go back. It's lovely to take a break, so I don't just want the break to end. But overall, I would say it's pretty neutral. I'm very proud of myself for doing this. I told all of my coworkers before I left, do not send me updates on patients, pretty please. And I think that is how I was able to just fully disconnect and recharge and focus on the honeymoon, focus on celebrating my marriage, and truly just be my non-working self for honeymoon. That separation was wonderful, but it also means that going in today, I'm gonna get all my updates at once for all of my patients. I have no idea how many patients I'll still have, how many will be the same as when I left, there'll be so many new ones that I just have no idea who they are yet. I'm sure for the people that are still there, a lot's happened. So I just know going in that that's gonna be a lot to get back updated on. I never know the proper strategy of starting with Epic or starting with my email or starting with talking to people. It's just such a beast of unknown information that I imagine today will be a lot of just catching up, and hopefully there's nothing crucial enough that I have to dive or jump right into something is the goal, but we'll see. Don't know how this week will go at all, but we're getting back into the routine. We woke up at 4:55 and went to the gym this morning, so we're getting back into the routine for the weeks that we can have it. It's bittersweet. It's bittersweet and neutral. A soft bittersweet. I have to repack my work bag because a lot of my things are out of my work bag. I don't even know what I've left for myself in here. I hope I left my badge because, okay, yeah. I was a little bit worried about that since I hadn't laid eyes on badge in a long time. But the other things that I need to bring, I have a lunch for myself that we got at the discount section in Kroger. I mentioned it in my no spend week challenge, but I do have the goal of eventually just bringing all of my lunches, making and bringing all of my lunches. But for the time being, kind of what I've been doing is getting the discount grab and go things at Kroger and then just bringing those for as many days as I can. So this is a Green Goddess Cobb salad with chicken and bacon, I think. It's pretty good, 20 grams of protein in it. And then I plan to get a protein drink at the hospital for lunch. That's in there, and my fork. Got my water cup that needs to go in. And then I'm gonna bring this to fill up with tea from the break room is kind of my plan if I need it today. I feel like I always get shocked and surprised whenever I get sick after being in an airport, but really I think the more shocking thing would be not getting sick after being in the airport. I'm not awful. Yesterday was kind of bad and it hit me hard as seen in previous vlog, but I think I'm kind of at the same level today. I haven't gotten worse. I feel like what's hard with me in the beginnings, when my throat's just kind of sore, is the fact that I don't know how bad it's gonna get. I would hope for it just to be a sore throat and then go away, but I'm maybe 48 hours from now, I'm just going to be laying on my couch unable to do anything. So I'm also bringing these little immune lozenges. I like these, they're elderberry, and I got them back in January, which is the last time I had a cold, so I'm really doing okay. I like them. I've been already planning what times a day I can treat myself to one. Deodorant's going in, because that I took out whenever I was traveling. Chapstick / lip gloss is going in, and then I'm gonna grab my Kindle, because I don't expect to read today, given the circumstances of the catch-up, but I do want to just organize myself if I get the chance on an off moment, which means putting my Kindle on airplane mode stat to keep some books around. I think that is everything. The only other thing I need is to grab a rain jacket because out of nowhere it started raining. Hopefully that's not indicative of how the day is gonna go. I'm trying not to have a bad attitude, and I don't feel like I'm having to fight my bad attitude that much. But I do remember, whenever I came back to work after my wedding, because I took 2 days off, and then we had an extra, snow day. So it was 3 days after my wedding is when I went back to work. They were like, how are you doing? And I was like, oh, I feel good, actually. This was a good amount of time. I'm okay to be back, all of this. And I remember one of my friends was like, it's going to be after the honeymoon that we really need to check on you. And I was like, I bet that's true. And it kind of is true. But welcome to the routine 9 to 5 work week. We're getting back into it. I feel like I'm seeing it with new eyes. All of my, morning routines, night routines, routines, just daily habits and everything I'm like having to very purposefully do because it's been a while since my day has been in this structure. I also have no idea what time it is. I guess I haven't even been watching that. Okay, we're good on time. One of my coworkers just texted, call me when you get in. I might call her on the way just to start getting the updates. Thanks for joining for this video. I hope it goes well. Thanks for joining as we're diving back into the routine of things. I hope you have a great week, this week and the week that you're watching, but I'm thinking about you right now and today too. Y'all, I am tired. What do you mean this is what I used to do? Every single day, 5 days in a row, 8 hours. Today was busy. Today was very busy. I did not sit down. I did not finish notes. And part of me is like, well, maybe you should have expected this because if I'm going to be gone, then there's going to be like things for me to catch up on. But I guess in my head, I was like, well, there's nothing to catch, like I'll just pick up where, I don't know, things left off, or I'll just like pick up where things are at. But in my head, I wasn't thinking like, oh, I'm going to have like things to catch up on, like to do additional. And it wasn't like, I don't know how to phrase this. It wasn't like additional work, but it was just like all of the works, more quantity of the same amount of work. Does that make sense? Like things that may come up like, oh, once every 5 days or something. And then things that maybe come up like once every 3 days, something like just all of them were today is basically what I'm trying to say. I'll be fine, but I do feel tired. I'm sure part of it also plays into the fact that like my body still feels like I'm fighting a sickness. I don't think I'm sick. I just think I'm like fighting it probably. Hopefully. I made my hot chocolate with my creatine right here, and I've just been brain rotting. Like today, first day back is not the day for me to, I don't know, like implement all of my healthy habits, I fear. Like, yeah, I usually probably don't just like scroll TikTok whenever you get home from work, and I don't usually, but today I'm tired. I feel like I could go to bed right now. But I mean, also like just stamina wise, I guess if like thinking about it, like one, this was a busier day than I typically have with like less breaks overall than I typically have, or even just like time to gather my thoughts than I typically have. But also, even if it were a normal day, like I haven't had to do this level of like mental activity, even just physical activity of like walking around. I haven't had to do this level of activity in a while. So how lucky am I? But this is more of an adjustment than I kind of thought it would be. I do have already like a full to-do list for tomorrow, and that's just assuming that nothing new comes up for me tomorrow. My brain feels too tired to even pretend to like read tonight or anything. Like I truly think I'm about to go sit on the couch and pull up YouTube. Honestly, and this is what felt really disrespectful during the day. I was so busy, like I said, like my phone battery was like almost full when I got home today. I wasn't on it at all. But there was one moment that I got a very sweet comment on YouTube, which honestly made my day. But so I clicked onto the YouTube app from that notification, and I clicked onto the app. It like also pulled up my subscriptions feed. So many people were posting videos that I like really wanted to watch today. And I was like, how rude is this to happen on a day when like I cannot play a video while I'm sitting at my desk? Because sometimes I'll be able to like play a YouTube video while I'm chart reviewing, or even when I'm starting to do notes, something like that. Today was not that day. And I was like, this is so disrespectful that sometimes I have all the time in the world to have YouTube videos playing in the background, and I'm like all caught up, like I don't have anything additional to watch. And then the day that I can't, all of my favorite people posted like favorite videos of mine. So I'm gonna indulge in that now. It's my plan. I went to bed at 7:30 last night, so I think I should stop convincing myself that I'm not just like a little bit sick, and maybe just like take that into consideration. I do always wear a mask at the hospital, regardless whether or not I feel anything, but slept from 7:30 to about 5:30. So if that doesn't heal me, then I fear for myself. I hope that I'm healed. I am ready for work. I'm gonna make breakfast. What I've been having, because I've been trying to have like just insane amounts of protein in days. That's my goal. I'm kind of debating whether or not to do like a full, I don't know, like follow-up sort of to my fitness, wellness, a little bit of weight loss journey. Because I made a video in February when I was like kind of starting, and I kind of said like I'm not going to talk about it, you know, every day as it happens. But I'm changing like choices I make in things that I eat, and like being super purposeful about things that I eat, and like working to get additional steps in, and lifting heavy in the gym, all of those things. And I haven't decided yet what like future video may look like. Maybe just like a weekly vlog that kind of focuses more on like week of workouts and week of healthy eating or something. I'm not sure. But what you should know is that I am trying to get insane amounts of protein in a day. And what I've been having for breakfast are these Kodiak Peak oatmeals. I had just like regular Kodiak protein oatmeal, and then I saw this in the store, and I was like, wait a second, I've been having 12 grams of protein Kodiak oatmeal, and 20 grams of protein Kodiak oatmeal exists. So it's Kodiak Peak oatmeal, 20 grams of protein, maple and brown sugar, little flavor, super easy to make, obviously, because it's instant oatmeal. It does have some sugars if you care about that, but I mean, you also get like good amounts of fiber, you get good amounts of protein. It's not very like calorically dense, but I find that it fills me up since it's the oats. So I've been making that for some breakfasts, and then I'm just gonna have black coffee this morning. I had considered for a moment having like a matcha that I make with one of my protein drinks. We did that a couple weeks ago, and it was really fun while we were doing that. I just don't think I have the effort inside me, but I might just have one of those core powers for breakfast too. Ooh, I could put in my coffee. That could be kind of cool. Maybe I'll do that because I feel like I just need a little more oomph of sustenance to get me to lunch, because, and this is what I hate about going into a day already having a full to-do list, is the fact that I don't know what is going to be new. So I'm just preparing for today to be like yesterday. Yesterday I ate probably around 1, and I was so hungry by that time because I've been out of like a work routine, and like I think usually I kind of have later lunches sometimes during work, and I have not been when I've not been working, and so that was an adjustment. I was starving, but I was like so busy, and I was like the first that I could pull myself away to eat. So I'm gonna start with extra sustenance this morning just in case that were to happen again. I can be better prepared, but I do expect that I'll have a full day today. Honestly, I need to turn my Kindle on airplane mode stat because I did not do that yesterday, and that was my whole goal of bringing it. It is like not a hard thing. It just like takes me turning it on and turning it on airplane mode, but for some reason it feels like a treacherous task.
Show me what it's like to be circling in the clouds, because without you by my side I would be stuck here on the ground. You're lighting up the way, I can see the road ahead of me. I won't be stumbling in the dark. Your eyes are shining like the stars. I was down until you saved me, until you set me free.
I totally forgot that I had this because I ordered it when we were on our honeymoon, and then it was here whenever we got back. So like I was doing other things like unpacking and everything and just totally forgot about it. But I've been looking at getting new scrub pants because after using like majority 3 daily, so like every 3 days for the past 2 years, some have started to show some like wear and tear, which I feel like is reasonable. Like that's a good amount of use. I was like looking to see if I wanted to branch out from Figs, but also just like Figs is what I know. So I wasn't sure like shopping online if I don't know. But every time I would make a cart, I would be like, that's more than I want to spend on work clothes. Like I could spend that on anything else that I would like more than work clothes. And so then I was like, well, let me check Poshmark. And so I checked Poshmark, and I did find actually these, which were a good deal. I hadn't bought them, I just liked them, but then they like sent the offer, and I was like, okay, that's a pretty good offer, and they were my size, and so I got them. But these are more purple pants. They're a different like cut and style pant than I've worn before. Like they're not cinched at the bottom, their waistband is like stretchier. So if I like it, then that's good to know, because I've only ever gotten the Zamora joggers, and I do think that they're like better or not necessarily better, but like there are different options out there that I could try instead of wearing the same pants every single day. I will accept that purchase on Poshmark because they look good, and then wash them, and eventually those will be in my rotation. Salmon rice and little salad for dinner tonight. Everybody place your bets on if I'll make it past 7:30 or not. It really is up in the air. I do feel better. I do think I'm feeling better. And I realized that I don't know, yesterday whenever I was like, why am I so tired? Why am I so tired? Well, I must be sick. But I don't really feel that sick, but like, why am I so tired? One, could just like live and let be and not like analyze why I'm feeling ways I'm feeling. I think that's fine sometimes. Number 2, my coworkers were talking today, not even talking about me. They didn't know that I went to bed at 7:30 last night, but they're talking today just about like how exhausting our job is and how often it's like relatively physically exhausting because you're on your feet all the time. And then it's obviously mentally exhausting, but even just like energy, emotional exhausting, like I forget that can manifest physically. And I guess it's pretty fair that after not having the stamina of working for a week and a half, coming back and having not just any day, but a busy day, like it makes sense that I was so tired. Having grace with myself. Today was better. It wasn't great, but it was better. And hopefully if I can stay up past 7:30, I have several to-dos that I want to do on my computer that I've really been wanting to do since like Sunday, but I crashed. I want to look up good like Lunchables sort of things, like adult Lunchables to bring for lunch, because I have my goal of making my lunches, and I've been bringing the salads these past 2 days, so that's been good. But I'm probably gonna have to revert back to getting cafeteria food tomorrow. We might have like one more leftover chicken that I could bring tomorrow, but I always complain about the cafeteria food, and then I just like put myself in a position of eating it. So I want to look up just like an easy, like, you know, couple blocks of cheddar cheese, grapes, like a different protein, I don't know, just like a good like Lunchable that could be easy to pack, and I just like bring, and it brings me joy. Like a little mini charcuterie board is what I'm picturing for myself for lunch. Of some variety of things. I just want to see like ideas and see what's good. So that's on my to-do. And then also my to-do is to start looking through my LCSW studying book and decide what my like studying pace will be and what I will do and when I will start. All of those things. I want to look through that. And that shouldn't be too hard. I just like haven't sat down and done it yet. Those are the main things. I feel like maybe there was one more thing. I just can't think of it right now. But I'm going to sit and watch YouTube while eating and then get on with my to-dos. Happy hump day to all who celebrate. I feel like I don't really celebrate a hump day. I feel like Wednesday just like doesn't actually feel that close to the end of the week. One time, and I talked about it, I think when it happened, one time it was a Thursday morning and someone ended a meeting saying everyone have a good weekend. And I was like so rattled by it because in my head I was like, do you know the amount of things that I'm doing before the weekend? Like we are not yet free. Not yet. Last night, the to-dos that I had for myself, I don't know why, it's like this being my to-do list is the most wonderful thing in my head. Like if my to-do list is planning out like my future betterment and like steps that I'm getting there, like that's awesome. It also has been like exhausting me. I did not do the things I told you about yesterday because treacherous to-do list instead. Zach and I realized we don't have like any sort of trip really planned upcoming. And partly that's because like we just got home, as you know, from a big trip. So like, of course that makes sense. Like we don't have something huge planned after our honeymoon, but even just like weekend trip, like various things. My Delta app right now is just like no flights, which is totally normal and regular. And also makes me feel like I don't have like anything to look forward to. So what I ended up doing last night was Zach and I were looking for places for his fall break that we can go. Cause honestly, like travel is a priority of ours right now, especially because like that's where we're enjoying putting money, like live below our means so that we have means to travel, and then also like being part of like rewards and credit card. It just, travel is a priority right now, considering we're at a time of life where we like can just like drop everything and travel. That being said, because nothing's planned, it's like I don't have inspiration. Like in my head, I'm like looking at different places and I'm like, oh, I like literally have no idea where I want to go next. Like I've not been a lot of places, both in the US, outside of the US, but as I look, I'm like, I have no idea. And so truthfully, that's what I did last night, was like looking at different hotels or things. We're not booking anything. It really was just like to give motivation, because as I'm sitting here being like, woohoo, back in the routine, I feel like I need to know like when I'll next have something fun that's outside of the routine. So that being said, I still don't have my plan for my adult Lunchables. And I still don't have my plan to begin studying. Today's a little bit different in that I do have a meeting after work, outside of work hours. I still get to clock in for it. Usually I would flex time if I have this extra time, but honestly, just with like getting my feet back under me at work, I think flexing time would just stress me out more. And I am hourly, so like I'm getting paid for the hours I work. Just since I like technically have more than 40 scheduled this week because of that committee meeting, I could flex an hour and a half, and usually would, but I'm not this week, because truly I think like leaving early would just stress me out whenever I am working to get my feet back under me. Dishwasher loaded and unloaded. I'm gonna shower, get ready for work, and head on out. Hope you have a great day too.
Eyes were closed. Now I see clear as day, and I just wanted to say that you can take me high. Feels like I can fly.
Yesterday, I had an 11.25 hour day at work, which was kind of planned. Like, it wasn't planned, maybe kind of expected, but not necessarily planned. I did know that I had a committee meeting on Wednesday. I think we'd already talked about that because I was talking about like whether or not I would flex time. What I didn't talk about was the fact that Wednesday was so busy again. And it was like so busy with my feet still not quite feeling under me quite yet. And there were several just like heightened, very important situations during the day that took up a lot of time in a fine way. But just meant that at 4:30 I was sitting there and I was like, now is my time to clock out technically for the day, except for the fact that I have a committee at 6. So it was like I knew between 4:30 and 6 is not that much time, like to go home and make dinner and chill and everything before returning for a committee at 6. And so as I was sitting there, I did decide to just stay at work through my committee. I hope to not make a habit of that, because that did end up happening to me in March too. It's just something about my committee days end up being really busy days. Like I wasn't having to justify it to to myself. It truly was like, no, there's like still enough that I have left to do that I need to stay, kind of. Like, I could have left, but it was better for everyone involved for me to stay, because at that point I mostly had notes left, and I had about 12 notes that I could have like saved overnight and then come in this morning and done my 12 notes, but that would have just honestly left me feeling like stressed, and also some of them were like important to where if there were things that were happening in the evening, like it just felt important to have that in the chart at a non-delayed fashion. And so it took me just about the full hour and a half between then and when my committee was to finish up my notes, finish up a few like remaining tasks, close out a few consults. And though it made for a long day, it also gave me the time to fully wrap things up and enter today on a blank slate, because it becomes a time when like entering a new day with enough leftover to-dos from the day before just gets really tough, because every day is going to come with its own new to-dos. And so I was really glad to have that time Wednesday. And then also the committee meeting like went great. It was wonderful, but I think I ended up being done at 7:45, which it just makes for a late day. And so this morning when I woke up, I just like went back to sleep. We did not go to the gym. We did not wake up early, which is an additional rest day that we weren't really like counting on. But I think I just need to learn to not try to go to the gym after these committee nights, which won't happen again even till like August. Like, they do not happen that regular. But if I am having a late night at work, I get home and I'm not feeling wound down. Like, I need to calm down, like do a nighttime routine, wind down, and that just like happens at a different rate whenever I get home late. And so slept in a little bit this morning, which ended up I think being really good, because honestly I feel like a normal body again. Like, I don't feel overly tired. I mean, but I got like 11 hours of sleep like 3 times this week. I don't feel overly tired anymore. I don't feel any of the like kind of sore throat sort of starting to come on, questioning things. Like, that part of me feels recovered, which is wonderful. And then something else that I want to just like take note of to remind myself for the future after taking time off, I would say it took till today, so 4 days, for me to feel like I know my new caseload, which I think is just very helpful mentally while tackling like work. Because since so many people like discharged and entered while I'd been gone on my honeymoon, obviously that just means I didn't know a lot of people anymore. And so I mean, the past several days it'll be like a nurse calls me and they'll be like, do you cover this room number? And I'll be like, I don't know. Like, who's in there? Can you give me a few details? Which is fine, but I just like having a better grasp and a better handle on things. Or like, people would be talking about a patient and usually I know kind of like just like everything that's going on, or at least like enough general picture of what's going on. And it keeps happening now where people would be talking about a patient and like ask me a question, and in my head I'd be like, I don't even know why they're here. Like, what is their diagnosis? Like, what is their treatment plan? How long will they be here? I had no idea. But I feel like after today I have like gotten a good grasp, and I feel like I know my new caseload and I don't have too many lingering to-dos. A few, but hopefully pending everything going well, there won't be anything that jumps into the new week after tomorrow, Friday. So that feels good. That feels really good. I do feel like getting back into like healthy habits so far this week. It has been good to try to go to my routine while also giving myself the grace of understanding that like my body has to get used to it a bit. And so I think just been feeling that of like, I'm doing the best I can and it's pretty good. It's not exactly where it had been before, but it's pretty good. And I mean, right now going to bed, I have every plan to wake up at 4:55 again tomorrow morning and work out. I may bring you along if that sounds good. I really haven't all too much whenever we do early workouts because it's really early in the morning. But I do feel like we've taken the adjustment time, we've needed the adjustment time, but things are getting back to routine in like a good way. Like this feels like my life way. We're making the most of it way. My feet feel under me, my brain feels in me and capable, and all of those feel like really good things. It is Friday evening, so arguably we are at the point in the week where I can say I've made it. I am tired. Oh my gosh. I have been sitting on the couch working on editing this weekend's YouTube video. I for a while was on like a weekend ahead and I lost that whenever we went out of town. And so I've been trying to grind, trying to get the video for Sunday done so that I don't have to like spend as much time on it tomorrow. But I am tired. And it's like I'm thinking back to, did I go to bed at 7:30 a few times this week? What was going on there? Truly. I'm gonna do my skincare though because I have a really fun face mask that I'm like really looking forward to, that I figure if I'm sitting on the couch editing anyways, then I might as well be sitting on the couch editing in my fun face mask.